Welcome to the Beyond Max Q podcast. I am joined today for this episode with Dana Bowlin. Is that how you pronounce your last name? I want to make
Yeah,
sure I'm
it
getting it right.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's fun. This is a fun story. We've reconnected after almost 12, maybe 13 years.
My
Long
God.
time. A long
Long
time.
time, yes.
A long time. We worked together. I think it was might even been my first job out of college. And we sat together like in these little cubicles in the back. And Dana was like this, I don't even remember, like VP of all the things tech. And I remember being so impressed with like your composure and how you handled yourself. And I was like, I want to be her when I get older. Because
Oh,
you were so professional and amazing. Like you just had like this confidence about you that where you just took on projects and they were, in my mind at least, always successful. I don't know if that was true or not, but it seemed like it. And so I just am so excited to come full circle and enjoy and invite you to be a guest on the podcast. And you have tremendous startup experience. And so I think you're going to your opinion and your thoughts are going to be very valuable for our community. And so with that, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do now and your experience.
I feel like that was quite the introduction too.
Well, you're worth it.
Well, yeah, I'm Dana Bowlin. Let's see. I started off as a developer. I back in the day, loved putting puzzles together, loved solving problems, right? And so I loved math. Yeah, and I came out of college wanting to build software and did that for a while and actually worked for startups right out of college. A Apple packing company that did software, where we did software development, and
Not
then
actually Apple, an Apple
like
packing company.
apple packing, yeah,
Just to
fruit,
be clear.
actual fruit. Yes. And then I worked for a medical billing software company, and then I went to work for like big enterprise and like learned all the like tips and tricks of like how to be in the red tape and then cutting the red tape and then worked for more startups after that. So kind of gotten this good feel for like, okay, how do you come into a business and like what does it look like and what do you do and like how do you identify the red tape and how do you cut it and like how do you get stuff done in the different environments. So I've worked in just about every industry except for retail, I would say. And yeah, it's never been a ladder career. It's always been a journey for me, and I
Love
love
that.
that. It keeps me busy. Keeps me busy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's a lot of startups in the community that are building tech, right? I mean, I think that's a huge thing. We're at B2B tech and there's AI and deep tech. And I would love to get your thoughts on, okay, um, you're starting this thing. Where do you go?
Oh my goodness, right? There's been so many places where I've come into that. When we worked together the first time, I remember I was actually hired as a project manager.
Were
And
you?
so, yeah, and the team at the time, even the guy that hired me was like, I don't know why we need project management, but I think you'll be good at this and we'll see how it goes, right? And it was to build data centers. And right, like that concept of like, well, we know what we need to do, but we have no idea how to get there, right? And I always think that like diving into those is the funnest thing, right? Like figuring out like, okay, where do you start, right?
Yes.
And what are all of those things that you need to actually learn to figure out like how you're going to build this? And I remember sitting down with the teams and just going, okay, first tell me what is this data center? What does it look like, right? Like physically, what does it look like? Can I go see it? Like can I touch the things, right? Because I think a lot of times it's really nebulous, like what we're doing in startup and you're like, can you actually make it visual? Can you make it something you can see, taste, touch? Because sometimes that helps you like, figure out like what you want to build and how do you build it and what are all the steps that go into it and not being scared because sometimes people, I mean,
We're
it's
showing it.
daunting. Right? It's daunting. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about this, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things is just diving into what that is and having people that around you that will dive in with you, right?
I love that. So, okay, so let's say you're given a mess of a project day
Yeah.
one. Like they have this, yeah. What is your first course of action?
Um, like I said, I'm a developer by heart, and I'm like an I love data and I love like analysis. So for me, the place that I always start with is like, okay, where are we with the project? Like it may be a disaster, right? And like things are going sideways and people are going and doing other things, or maybe like the budget's way off and like we
Yeah.
didn't think we were going to spend that much. Like the part you need to do is like dive in, like get a good visual of like where everything is,
Hmm.
who's working on your project, who's not working on your project that should be working on your project. Because sometimes you're like, oh, like they're supposed to be doing stuff, why aren't they, right? And just get your arms around it. And sometimes that takes time, right? That takes a little bit of like analyzing like where you are and how you got to this point. And then I think like just diving in and like sometimes people will like uh they'll be like, oh, we'll just fix this one thing, right? Like we'll just fix this, like we'll move this one person to this team, or this one person will solve that. And I think sometimes in those messes of a project, it's almost like throw it out the window, right? Like sometimes you just gotta reset. And
I,
I think those like I've had projects like you know, tech projects. One of them was like a monitoring project where we're like trying to monitor all these devices, and like it was going sideways, and we were just like, okay, like stop, like level set, throw it
yes.
out, start over,
Yes.
right? And sometimes that's the best bet, because it makes you rethink everything you've done. It makes you rethink and start again. And I like those. Now, you can't always do that, right? Working in some government projects are going to be like, what? You're going to throw away all the work, all the hours, all the money, right? Like you can't do that. And so you have to be kind of laser focused in what you change. But um, like, don't put it past just throwing it out the window, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, that's how I feel about my house right now, like with spring cleaning. And I'm like, all right, so what are we throwing away? All of it? Just
all
everything?
of it. What's
I'm
that?
like, right.
Does it make
You
you
know,
happy?
wait, that's from a long time ago. Now pitch it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's really funny. I would love to also kind of tackle a little bit about what you're doing now because I think it's really interesting and I would love for you to talk through that a little bit.
Uh, it's interesting. I feel like I have a lot of jobs right now, which is awesome for me because I love to be busy. So I
Well,
do
and you're
work.
learning to sew, which is a random side note, but for anybody in the audience that's learning something new, I think that's exciting.
Yes, learning to sew from TikTok, and I do have a little Etsy shop that I enjoy, you know,
There you go.
selling my sewing, um and I work full time and I coach lacrosse. But I think one of the cooler things is my husband's also in tech, and so we're trying to like what does this look like to create a company that will like help in these situations, you know.
Consult
Yeah,
with other
yeah,
people your knowledge and where you've maybe haven't won or been successful and like make sure that they can be.
Yes, my husband is very much security focused, and he comes from a consulting background, and so being able to have that, and then have the project management and all the IT direction and software engineering on the side
Yes.
is something that we really enjoy and we really want to help people with. So we'll see how it goes. It'll be
Yes.
fun.
What's the name of your company? So everyone
It's
knows.
called Stoneclad Technologies. So yeah, we're excited.
That I think that's great. Well, and so as a startup, right? So you're
Yeah.
building your product. What are some red flags or tips and tricks or like common pitfalls, like just really quick little things that people can kind of do to avoid some of the situations we just talked about?
Yeah, I would say definitely red flags are engineers who only give you part of the story, right? Or engineers that try to out tech you.
Oh, huh. I mean, that's everyone for me because everyone's more technical than I am. So then I'm like, what does that mean?
I think in some ways if they talk at too much of a detailed level, sometimes I wonder if they actually know what they're like. They know what they're building, but do they know why they're building it,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
And are they taking it in a direction that you actually want it to go? Because it may be that like this is cool stuff we're building, but it's not going in the direction that we want it as a business, or we want it as a project or a product, or
Mhm.
what that is. So yeah, trying to be out tech. I would also say like um people that are absent, like you can tell, even in this world of like virtual, if they're not talking, if they're absent online, if they're not engaged, red flag, especially in startup land, like you can't have that, right? Um, and then the opposite, right? People are like, "Oh, I just wrote all this documentation and it's wonderful." And you're like, "Well, why did you do that? Do we need that now?" So those would probably be a few of my like
Okay.
immediate red flags.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Well, and I think when you're going to hire for a team too. So, because you've been PM and you've managed teams, and so, okay, I'm at the point now where I've scaled my startup and now I'm ready to add on to my team.
Yeah.
What would be your first move?
Well, that's a good one because I think it depends a little bit on the team. I think you're still like if you're transitioning from that like startup mode to like how do I scale? What does that next like tipping point and scale point look like? You need people who have been in it. I like to say like we worked at a company together where building 100 servers was like okay and you can do it one way, and when you hit that 100 servers you have to fundamentally change your like people and how you operate. And when we had 1,000 servers of building, it was completely different again, right? And so I think until you've felt that and seen it, you don't know what it means. And so getting people that have been through those scale points is critical in those moments. But you don't need everyone that's been there. You just need one or two that can kind of like, okay, this is what it feels like. Yes, it's okay to feel that way. Okay, we need to build this and this is why, and enable the team to come along with you. And so, yeah, looking for people who have done that. Now, it's interesting,
The
like trying to
doers, not the
that.
talkers.
Yeah, trying to find that is very difficult. Uh, but also the thing is like, well, can they see it? Like asking questions around, can they see where those scale points are? What would they do in those moments? How would they get a team through it with you?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is this something that you guys offer? Like, do you offer like helping, interview or maybe setting up teams, or is that something you've thought about? Because I think you'd be really good at it.
Yeah, I think that is a key item in like when you go into a company and they ask, "Hey, I need you to assess where we're at," right? Like, and that is one of the things you got to look at. Like, what is the business doing strategically? Like, where are they going in the next year? Because if you don't know what that is and you're trying to help them, like you're going to grow in the wrong direction. So like that is a key point. Like just sitting down and going, "Where do you want to be? What does that look like? And does the strategy and the like processes you put in place align with it? Because if they don't, then that's where we probably need to start
Right.
figuring out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's really good. I appreciate that. Um, I think we'll probably start to transition now into, because I'd really love to hear like where you had like maybe either the worst or the best experience in your career where like a project, and I feel like obviously they both can be great, but like some of the funny ones are the worst and you're like, okay, this happened, but like, we learn from our failures. It would be good to hear that.
There's so many of both. Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. I think I think one of the ones I'm most proud of is yeah, the team that we worked with together, right? And I think part of that is like I came on board as a project manager and it was like, "Hey, I need you to build, data centers all over the world," right? And I guess first it was I need you to build data centers in the US, and then it was kind of I need you to take that and build them all over the world. But then it became, okay, I've learned so much about that. Like then it became I was in the product and I was doing product management and I was like leading teams. And I think like out of that single like reason that I came on board from a project management point of view, what those skills that I learned were just like transferable to the whole business. Um and the projects weren't always easy, right? But I learned so much of them, and yeah, I'm probably the most proud of like literally what we built there. Yeah, there were some fun ones where I was like, oh, I don't think this is ever gonna get done. Like, what is happening here? Like, Yeah, I was building a data center in, Germany remotely with, people, and it was like, oh my gosh, the translation and the
Yes, and
on the
speaking the language. Yes, yes.
yeah, and not being able to like see the like data center and like what it looked like and still being able to having to plan that. That was very difficult. And that was before the days of Zoom, right? And
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think like how technology's even changed. And I know that's not what this interview is about, but just, I see people talking about it all the time, like, oh, AI is going to take your job, or oh,
yeah,
I mean, think about like how, and I don't disagree that AI is very powerful and that there are some jobs that it could potentially, maybe minimize. But I
yeah,
do think that if you learn with it, like we've done with all these other things, like Zoom and this podcast platform, for example. I could never have
yeah,
imagined doing this 10 years ago,
right.
I feel like you only get better at your job. But what are your thoughts? I mean, you're in the tech, so
Yeah, I'm doing an AI project right now, and it's amazing. Um, the the place where we're focused on is like, how do I take all of this data and information that the company knows and like make it more visible? And we can think of like, well, oh, okay, you could build a BI platform and you could build all these tools to do reporting and stuff, but like what people really want to know is like quick questions like, hey, where's this on my project? What's the date for this? Is the milestone, are we going to hit the milestone? Are we above or below budget? Right? If I can do simple like AI models against all of my project management tools or all of the places where I have data, that's answering questions for our business, right? And that's some of the things we're looking at, which are really awesome, right? And powerful. And that doesn't take anyone's job.
yeah, it makes
It
you more efficient, right?
it makes you more efficient, right? It makes management be able to have more visibility and make better decisions, right, about that. And so yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it augments our job and
It's a
it,
good
it
way to put
makes
it.
certain parts of it easier so that we could be like, oh my gosh, what could we do with this? Right? What's the next thing that we could do with? What if I don't have to spend 10 hours, building an Excel spreadsheet to do all of this and it does it for me, right? Like what else could I
Do
do with
my pivot table. I'm not doing it.
this? Exactly. So,
I'm sure there's people who love building those. I am not one. So it's never
damn, data's fun. Let's,
I know you're a data nerd. I mean, that's why we sat next to each other. It's like, Dana, can you help me with this? Like, it's not my favorite. But I think I would love to hear what your favorite or like, is there one standout tool that you're using right now that's making your life easier?
oh gosh, no. I think that there's a few. I've been of course, I play around with Chat GPT in the garden. If you're doing that. Like
Really?
if I don't, I take a picture of the tree and I go, is this tree sick? What should I do with it? Do I need, there's some really cool things there. Doing a lot with Copilot and the Microsoft tool set, which is really cool and building agents there. So it just kind of depends on, I think a lot of companies are trying to like, what does this look like? Where should we go with it in our tool and how do we integrate it? So I do like seeing like every tool that I pick up. Zoom has some stuff that they're doing with their summaries.
Mhm.
That I work on a board and like we're summarizing our board meetings using it, right? And stuff like that. So yeah, I think that all of them in some ways are like, oh, this is cool. How do I use it? What does it look like? Is it gonna last? I don't know.
Skynet. I mean, everyone always goes to that example, but
Yeah, yeah,
Um, okay, I think well we'll end with my favorite question because we always try to keep these interviews short.
yeah.
So people, and we all don't have a lot of time and all those things, but I would love to hear what you're reading right now. And there's obviously all kinds of books in the background, but what are you currently reading?
Oh, oh man. I am rereading actually the Phoenix Project with a few of my team members because they have not read it. And I am always surprised with IT organizations who haven't picked that book up and read that book
Hey,
because it's so powerful in regards to like, okay, like like you walk into a mess and there's that one person that's holding the entire thing up, right? And so yeah, we are rereading that. I am an avid reader, so I read a lot of other stuff, I'm on a like vampires and werewolves kick.
Oh, there
So,
you go. All right, well then I guess I have to ask, were you team Jacob or team
oh
Edward?
gosh.
Well, like that's like the compulsory question if you're in
Oh, I was neither. I was a little like,
those books, and the movies were even worse. Oh my gosh. I can't even believe like I read those. I'm like, oh my, well, I like those hours of my life I can't get back, but that's okay.
where I grew up, there is an author and she lives there and I love her. Her name is Patricia Briggs and she writes a really good series. And so I constantly reread her books that are
Okay, that's good to
vampires and
know.
werewolves. And
I love that.
yeah.
I love that you said something fun. Everyone's always so serious. There was like, oh, the leadership books, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but like, what are we reading for fun? Like, there's got to be something good, you know? Like, come on. That's awesome. Well, is there anything else you'd love to share or add or talk about before we close out?
I appreciate this and I just love catching up with you too.
I
It's
know
like
it's
it's
fun.
been so much fun to hear about what you've been doing and this community that you're growing, right? And like where it's gonna go. And I'm excited for
We'll
you
see.
also.
I'm excited. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dana. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And if you'd like to get in touch with Dana, I'll drop all of her links in the video description, and you can reach out to her if that's okay,
Yeah.
Dana, and connect and ask her all the hard questions because maybe
Yes,
she'll have
bring it
better
on.
answers than a lot of people. So that's awesome. Thank you so much.